I never imagined that handing my baby to the wrong man would incinerate my life in less than 48 hours. It seems like such a small thing. A simple mistake made in the fog of exhaustion. But small things are like matches dropped in dry grass. They burn everything down. Here I am, 1 week postpartum. I am sitting alone in an apartment that feels too large and too quiet. There is a newborn sleeping in the bassinet. My husband's closet is empty. The hangers are bare skeleton bones rattling in the draft. Divorce is not just a threat anymore. It is a promise hanging over my head like a guillotine blade. My name is Sienna. I am 29 years old. And this is how I destroyed a perfect marriage faster than my body could heal from giving birth. Declan and I had been married for 2 years. We dated for 2 years before that. On paper, and in reality, we were the golden couple. We lived in Port Haven, a city that always smelled like salt and rain. I worked in marketing, climbing the ladder with sharp heels and a sharper tongue. Declan was a restoration specialist for historic buildings. He was steady. He was the oak to my willow. He was the man who fixed things that were broken. We were happy. Or, I told myself we were happy. I thought we agreed on everything. But there was always Felix. Felix was my ex-boyfriend from university. We dated for 3 volatile years before realizing we made terrible lovers, but excellent friends. We broke up 5 years ago. But we never really stopped being a unit. We shared inside jokes. We shared text messages at 1 in the morning. We shared a history that I refused to let go of. When Declan and I first got together, he tried to be cool about Felix. He really tried. But after the engagement ring slid onto my finger, the questions started. I would be laughing at my phone on the sofa. Declan would look up from his blueprints. "What is so funny at midnight, Sienna?" he would ask. His voice would be level, but his eyes would be tight. I would roll my eyes. "It is just Felix. He sent a meme about our old professor." "You are being ridiculous, Declan." I told him he was insecure. I told him he was controlling. I told him Felix was family. I found out I was pregnant 9 months after the wedding. It was an accident. A joyous, terrifying accident caused by a stomach bug and missed pills. We had a 5-year plan. This was year 1. I panicked. I cried in the bathroom. But Declan? He didn't panic. He stared at the test, and then he smiled. It was a slow, spreading smile that reached his eyes. He started building a crib that weekend. He bought books on fatherhood. He downloaded apps to track the baby's size. He was all in. Felix had been away in Europe for work. But 3 months into the pregnancy, he came back. And just like that, the dynamic shifted. Felix appointed himself my pregnancy coach. He brought me specialized teas for the nausea. He texted me every morning to ask how we were doing. He showed up at the apartment with takeout when Declan was working late at the restoration site. Declan noticed. Of course he noticed. "Does Felix not have a job?" Declan asked one night, watching me text Felix back during dinner. "Does he not have his own life? He is just being supportive." I snapped. "Why can't you be grateful that I have a village? You are always working." "I am working to pay for this apartment and our child," Declan said quietly. "And I am right here, Sienna. I am your village. He is your ex." I ignored him. I thought Declan was just jealous of our bond. As my belly grew, Felix grew closer. He offered to drive me to appointments when Declan was busy. He came to a birthing class once, when Declan got stuck at a site inspection. I remember Declan's face when he came home that night. I told him about the class, about how funny Felix had been with the breathing exercises. Declan didn't laugh. His jaw worked, a muscle feathering under the skin. "It is not normal, Sienna," he said. "It is not normal for your ex to be breathing with you. You are just archaic," I told him. "Get with the times." 3 weeks before my due date, the contractions started. Declan was 2 hours away at a conference for heritage preservation. I called him, panic rising in my throat. "I am leaving now," he said. I could hear him running to his car. "Breathe, Sienna, I am coming." But there was a storm. A massive coastal storm that turned the highway into a parking lot. An hour passed. Then 2. The contractions were getting closer. They were ripping through me like tidal waves. I was terrified. I was in pain. So, I did what I always did. I called Felix. He was there in 15 minutes. He drove me to the hospital, holding my hand over the center console, telling me jokes to distract me. He checked me in. He walked me to the labor and delivery room. And he stayed. The labor was long. It was brutal. 18 hours of agony. Felix was there the whole time. He fed me ice chips. He wiped my forehead. He argued with the nurses when I wanted more epidural. Declan arrived 4 hours after we checked in. He looked like he had been through a war. His clothes were soaked from the rain. His face was gray with stress. He burst into the room, eyes wild, looking for me. He saw me in the bed, and then he saw Felix sitting in the chair next to me. The chair meant for the father. The air in the room froze. "I am here," Declan breathed, rushing to my other side. "I am so sorry, Sienna. The traffic." "It's okay," I said, gripping the rail as another contraction hit. "Felix has been handling it." I didn't see Declan flinch. I was too busy looking at Felix, asking him to press on my lower back the way the nurse had shown him. Declan tried to step in. He tried to take over, but I was in a rhythm with Felix. "No, not like that," I snapped at Declan when he tried to rub my back. "Let Felix do it. He knows the spot." Declan stepped back. He went to the wall. He became a statue in his own life. Our daughter was born at 5 in the morning. The relief was instantaneous. The pain vanished, replaced by a heavy, drugged exhaustion. The doctor placed her on my chest for a moment. A slippery, crying miracle. Then they took her to the warmer to clean her up. Declan moved from the wall. He had tears in his eyes. He looked at the baby with such raw, terrified love. The nurse swaddled the baby. She turned around, holding the bundle. "Who wants to hold her?" the nurse asked, smiling. She looked at the two men. This was the moment. This was the match in the dry grass. I looked up from the bed. My brain was foggy. I looked at Declan, standing there with his hands twitching, ready to reach out. Then I looked at Felix, who was grinning, standing right by the warmer. Without thinking, I pointed a tired finger at Felix. "Let him hold her first," I said. "He has been here from the start." The silence that followed was louder than the storm outside. The nurse hesitated. She looked confused. She looked at Declan, then at Felix. Declan's face drained of all color. It went perfectly white. His mouth opened slightly, as if he had been punched in the gut. "Are you sure?" the nurse asked. "Yeah, it is fine," I said, closing my eyes. "Felix, go ahead." Felix stepped forward. He didn't even look at Declan. He took the baby. He looked down at her and cooed. "Hey there, little one," Felix whispered. "Uncle Felix is here." I smiled, drifting. It felt sweet. It felt modern. Then I opened my eyes and saw Declan. He had backed into the corner of the room. He looked like he was bleeding internally. "What is wrong?" I asked him. "What is wrong?" Declan repeated. His voice was a whisper, but it shook the room. "Sienna, you just gave my daughter to your ex-boyfriend before me." "Oh, stop it," I said, irritation cutting through my exhaustion. "He helped me through labor. Don't be so dramatic." "I am her father," Declan said. That was my moment. That was our moment. "You will hold her next," I said, waving my hand. "Do not make a scene, Declan. I just gave birth." Declan looked at Felix, who was still holding the baby, oblivious. Then he looked at me. The look in his eyes was something I had never seen before. It wasn't anger. It was resignation. It was the look of a man who realizes he has lost the war. "I am going to get some air," Declan said. "Don't be ridiculous," I called out. "Come hold your daughter." He paused at the door. He looked at the tableau. Me in the bed. Felix with the baby. "Is she?" he asked softly. And then he walked out. I rolled my eyes. "He will cool off," I told Felix. "He is just tired." Declan did not cool off. The next 24 hours were a blur of nurses and feeding schedules. Felix stayed for hours. He took selfies with the baby. He sent them to me. Declan came back to the room, but he was a ghost. He sat in the visitor chair in the corner. He didn't speak. When I offered him the baby, he held her gently, staring at her face with a profound sadness, but he didn't coo. He didn't cry tears of joy. He just looked at her like he was saying goodbye. When the nurse came in to check my vitals, she smiled at Felix. "Dad, do you want to do some skin-to-skin time?" she asked. I laughed. "Oh no, he isn't the dad. Just the best friend." The nurse turned beet red. She looked at Declan in the corner. Declan didn't even look up from the floor. The humiliation radiating off him was palpable, but I just thought he was being sulky. Later that night, after Felix finally went home, Declan stood by the window. "We need to talk about boundaries, Sienna," he said. Not this again, I groaned. I am recovering from surgery, Declan. Can we not do this? I cannot do this anymore, he said. I felt like an intruder in my own child's birth. I feel like a third wheel in my own marriage. You are overreacting, I said. Felix is just helpful. Why are you so threatened by him? Declan turned to look at me. Because you prioritize him. You always have. If Felix calls, you run. If Felix needs something, it matters more than what I need. Today was just the final proof. That is not true, I lied. It is true, Declan said. And I am done fighting for second place. He grabbed his jacket. Where are you going? I asked. I need to think, he said. I will be back to drive you home for discharge. He left. The next morning, discharge day. I waited. I packed my bag. I dressed the baby in the outfit I had picked out months ago. 11 o'clock came. No Declan. 12 o'clock. No Declan. I texted him. Where are you? We are ready. No answer. Straight to voicemail. My anger started to boil. How dare he? How dare he leave me waiting at the hospital because his ego was bruised? At 1 o'clock, I called Felix. He is not here, I told Felix, trying to keep my voice steady. Can you come get us? On my way, Felix said. When we got to the apartment, I expected to see Declan sitting on the couch, sulking. I was ready to scream at him. I was ready to tell him he was a terrible father for abandoning us on day one. I unlocked the door. Felix carried the car seat inside. The apartment was silent. Declan? I yelled. Nothing. I walked into the bedroom. The closet door was open. Empty. His shoes were gone. His suits were gone. His toiletries from the bathroom were gone. His restoration books from the nightstand were gone. It was as if he had never lived there. My heart hammered against my ribs. I walked into the kitchen. There was a key on the counter. Beside it was a white envelope with my name on it. My hands shook as I opened it. Sienna, I cannot do this anymore. The past 2 days have clarified what I have suspected for a long time. I am not your partner. I am a placeholder until Felix is available. I tried to tell you how I felt. You called me crazy. You called me controlling. But watching you hand that baby to him, it broke something in me that I cannot fix. I am staying at my brother's house. I will not be coming back. I have spoken to a lawyer. She will be in touch regarding the divorce proceedings. Please do not contact me for a few days. I need space. Declan. I dropped the letter. It fluttered to the floor like a dead leaf. He left. I whispered. He actually left. Felix came up behind me. He read the note over my shoulder. Wow, Felix said. That is intense. What a coward. Leaving his wife and newborn baby? That is low, Sienna. I know, I cried. He is insane. He is jealous and insane. You are better off, Felix said, squeezing my shoulder. We don't need him. We. The word hung in the air. 3 days passed. Declan did not answer my calls. He did not answer my texts. I was alone with a newborn, running on 0 sleep, fueled by rage and adrenaline. Felix came over, but he didn't stay the nights. He had things to do. He brought diapers, but he didn't change them. He held the baby for photos, but handed her back when she cried. On the 4th day, I got a text from Declan. Meet me at Bennett Park. Noon. Bring the baby. I dressed with shaking hands. I was going to fix this. I was going to yell at him, and then he would apologize, and he would come home. It was raining lightly at the park. The gray sky matched the stone of the pavement. Declan was sitting on a bench, looking at the ocean. He looked older. There were lines around his mouth I hadn't seen before. I sat down next to him. The baby was asleep in the stroller. How could you? I hissed. You abandoned us. Declan didn't look at me. He looked at the stroller. I did not abandon her, he said. I left you. There is a difference. You are divorcing me because I let a friend hold the baby? I asked incredulously. Do you hear yourself? It is not just holding the baby, Sienna, Declan said, turning to face me. His eyes were cold. It is everything. It is the emotional affair you have been having for years. I have never cheated on you, I shouted. Haven't you? Declan asked. You give him your time. You give him your emotional support. You give him your best moods. I get the leftovers. And then, there is the timeline. My stomach dropped. What timeline? 10 months ago, Declan said. I was away in Chicago for that conference. You told me you went out for drinks with the girls. But I saw the credit card bill later. The bar tab. It was just 2 people. And it was expensive. I froze. And then, Declan continued, his voice calm and deadly. I saw the text from Felix the next morning. Last night was wild. My head hurts. I remembered that night. I remembered the gin. I remembered the laughter. I remembered Felix walking me home. I remembered stumbling. I remembered lips. Nothing happened, I lied. My voice sounded tinny. We just got drunk. I passed out on the couch. Did you? Declan asked. Yes, I insisted. Good, Declan said. Then you will not mind the condition I have set for the custody agreement. What condition? A paternity test, Declan said. The world stopped spinning. The rain felt suddenly freezing on my skin. That is insulting, I spat. You know she is yours. Do I? Declan looked at me. He really looked at me, searching for something he couldn't find. Because from where I am sitting, Sienna, you and Felix have been playing house for a long time, and 10 months ago fits the conception date perfectly. I am her mother, I said. I know who the father is. If you are so sure, Declan said, standing up, then take the test, prove me wrong. If she is mine, I will pay support. I will be a father. I will co-parent. But I will not stay married to you. But if she isn't mine, he let the sentence trail off. I will have the lawyer set it up, he said. He looked at the baby one last time. He didn't touch her. He just looked. And then he walked away into the rain. I sat on the bench for a long time. I called Felix. He wants a paternity test, I said. Silence on the other end. Why? Felix asked. His voice wasn't cocky anymore, it was sharp. Because of that night, I said. Before Declan went to Chicago. When we got drunk? Sienna, Felix said. We said nothing happened. I know what we said, I whispered. But I don't remember everything, Felix. Do you? More silence. I mean, we made out, Felix admitted. Things got heavy. But we didn't. I don't think we went all the way. We were wasted. You don't think? I screamed. My marriage is over, Felix. I need to know. Look, just take the test, Felix said. It is probably his. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The next week was agony. I went to the clinic. They swabbed the baby's cheek. They had already swabbed Declan. I waited. During that week, I saw the true colors of my best friend. Felix stopped coming over. He stopped answering my texts immediately. When I called him, crying about the stress, he sighed. I am busy with work, Sienna, he said. I can't be your therapist right now. You are the reason I am in this mess, I yelled. Hey, you are the one who pointed at me in the hospital, Felix said defensively. I didn't ask for that. You handed me the kid. He was right. And I hated him for it. The results came in an email to the lawyers. I was sitting in my lawyer's office when she opened the file. It was a sterile room with gray carpet. Zoe, my lawyer, looked at the paper. She adjusted her glasses. She looked at me. She didn't say anything. She just slid the paper across the mahogany desk. Probability of paternity, 0%. Excluded. The air left the room. My vision tunneled. No, I whispered. That is wrong. The lab made a mistake. These tests are accurate, Sienna, Zoe said softly. Declan is not the father. I felt like I was falling. If Declan wasn't the father, I picked up my phone. I dialed Felix. Well? Felix answered. She isn't Declan's, I said. My voice was broken glass. Silence. Long, heavy silence. So, Felix started. She is. She is yours, I said. You are a father, Felix. I expected him to be shocked. Maybe a little scared. But I also expected him to step up. This was Felix. My best friend. The man who had been there through the pregnancy. Listen, Sienna, Felix said. His voice was cold. Businesslike. I am not ready for a kid. This wasn't the plan. The plan? I shrieked. This is a human being. This is your daughter. I know, Felix said. And look, I will do what the court says. I will pay the support or whatever. But I can't play house with you. I have a promotion coming up. I have a life. You wanted to hold her first. I screamed into the phone. You were right there. You acted like you were the dad when it was safe, when it was Declan's problem. But now that it is real, You are running? That was different, Felix said. I was just being a friend. This is too much. I have to go. Sienna. Click. He hung up. I sat there in the lawyer's office, holding a piece of paper that proved I was a liar and a cheater. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Declan. My lawyer told me the results. I am coming over to get the rest of my things. Please be gone when I get there. I went home. I packed a bag. I took the baby, my daughter, the daughter of a man who didn't want her, and I went to my mother's house. I left the key on the counter. 2 months later, the divorce was finalized. It was fast. Brutal. Since there was no custody to fight over, it was just dividing assets. I kept the apartment, but I couldn't afford it alone. So I had to sell it. I saw Declan one last time at the signing. He looked better. He had lost weight, but he looked healthy. The grayness was gone from his face. He looked like a man who had survived a fever and come out stronger on the other side. He signed the papers with a steady hand. He didn't look at me with anger anymore. He looked at me with pity. I am sorry, I said. It was the only thing left to say. I am so sorry, Declan. He capped his pen. He stood up. I hope you find happiness, Sienna, he said. I really do. Do you hate me? I asked. No, Declan said. I don't hate you. I don't know you. The woman I married wouldn't have done this. So I am just mourning her. He walked out of the office. He walked out of my life. I walked out to the parking lot. I strapped my daughter into her car seat. She smiled at me, innocent and beautiful. She had Felix's eyes. I checked my phone. No texts. Felix sends a check every month. It is always on time. He has never visited. He has never asked for a photo. He is a father on paper, just like he was a friend on paper. Convenient, superficial, and ultimately hollow. I drive back to my small rental apartment. It is quiet. Sometimes, late at night, I scroll through the photos on my phone. I see the pictures from the hospital. I see the one Felix took. The selfie. Him grinning, holding the baby, me in the background, looking exhausted and smug. And in the corner of the frame, blurred and out of focus, is Declan. He is sitting in the chair. His head is in his hands. I thought I was winning in that photo. I thought I had everything. The husband who provided and the friend who amused me. I thought boundaries were for people who didn't trust each other. I was wrong. I handed my baby to the wrong man. And in doing so, I handed away the only man who had ever truly loved me. Now, the silence in my apartment is the loudest thing I have ever heard.